I just finished wrapping a bunch of Christmas presents and I'm feeling Christmassy to the max today. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Hi, my name is Liz and today we are going to be doing my November wrap up. So I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in the month of November and just giving my ratings and some thoughts about each one. I physically read 7 books and I did finish one audiobook. That's a total of 8 different stories that I was able to consume this past month. I have a very wide range of ratings for these books. So let's get into them. Okay, so starting out, I will say that I feel like I kind of went into this month a little bit in a slump. I've been in such a slumpy mood the past few months and I've hated it. I'll start to feel really inspired and really loving all the books I'm reading, and then I'll hit one like little lull and I'll read a book, or it'll take me weeks to finish a book and then I just feel not motivated at all. This month was definitely like that. I was kind of slumpy at the beginning, then I got really into the books I was reading, and then I got kind of slumpy again towards the end, unfortunately. And I do think that definitely reflects on the ratings. I do feel like with some of these books, if I read them at a different time, maybe I would have rated them higher, but I won't know that because I read them when I read them. These are the feelings I had in the moment, and I do feel the same way now looking back and reflecting back on my month. The first book that I read this month was The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. I ended up rating this book 3.5 stars. This book follows a lot of Hungarian mythology and Hungarian culture and also Jewish mythology, which I did find very interesting about this book. That was one of the things that I actually really liked about this fantasy, because it felt very different than your typical fantasy that you would read. In this world, our main character, she lives in this community out in the woods, and every year or every season, the king's men come, they take a girl sacrifice. All of the girls in this village, they all have different types of powers. There's a seer who can like see visions. There's people who can control metals and can control earth and can heal. Our main character was born without any powers. Her fellow community members give her up as the sacrifice. There's this whole confusion. They're wanting a seer and they dress her up as one, and she goes in the seer's place. While she's in the woods traveling to the kingdom, their group gets attacked by these creatures and it leaves just our main character and the captain alive. This then turns into a whole discovery of finding out the captain is secretly one of the princes of this kingdom, and he's been kind of exiled a little bit. He really wants to make things better. They end up going on this quest together. Overall, I feel like the pacing was relatively quick, but I was partly in a book slump, so I feel like it took me longer than I expected it to. Overall, I would say that this was a really decent fantasy world. I do think it's very unique compared to other fantasies. Our main character, she does a lot of character growth throughout this story, which I really appreciated and enjoyed, and it does have romance in it as well. And I feel like the romance was definitely a very small side plot, but I really liked this book because our main character, I do feel like she kind of came into her own person within this story and really grew. Next up, we have a book that I read for my book club book of the month, and that was The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. I really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. I loved the story. It honestly took me by surprise how much I enjoyed this story. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I feel like I read it at the perfect time, because after reading The Wolf and the Woodsman, I really wanted a holiday read, but also I was still going through my fall TBR, and this book was kind of perfect timing because it gave me just the right amount of Christmas and holiday that I needed. This is basically Knives Out meets Christmas. Our two main characters are both mystery writers, and they're both kind of rivals in their field, both very well known, and they also do not like each other, or at least our main girl does not like our main guy in this book. They both end up getting invited to, think Agatha Christie, how she's so well known. They get invited to a similar type mystery author to her estate out in England. They both get invited for Christmas to her estate. They end up getting to meet other writers who are also invited. They get to meet family, friends, and family of this mystery writer. One night, this mystery writer goes missing, and so it turns into this whole mystery of where she is, what happened to her. Our two main characters take it upon themselves to solve the mystery, since they know mystery best. The romance in this book was honestly perfect. I really loved it. There were a few cringe-worthy moments. That's why it wasn't a full 5 stars, because there were certain comments that the main guy would say to our main girl that I know is supposed to like lighten the tension, but it really just cringed me out while I was reading it, unfortunately. Next, I'm going to be talking about some books that I actually read in a reading vlog earlier this month. That was the duology, the One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns duology. I really enjoyed these books. I ended up rating One Dark Window 4.5 stars and Two Twisted Crowns 4.75 stars. I know it's so close to a 5 star. I don't know what it was. There was just like, I know when a book is a full 5 5 stars. And this one just didn't reach that, but it was so close. And I feel bad saying that it's like right there. I don't know exactly what was missing that would have pushed it to a 5 stars. Yeah, I don't know. The author gave me everything I needed and the story was so well-rounded and perfect. I don't know why it wasn't a 5 stars. In this world, it has a very interesting and very unique magic system. And basically there's these playing cards, these 12 playing cards. Each one gives you a different type of magic. Our main character, she as a child had this fever. Usually people get hunted down for this sickness and get killed because it puts this very uncontrollable magic within these people. It can become like a danger to society. Our main character, she was hidden by her family and she has survived the sickness and lived with it all these years. At the same time, she's also had this thing that she calls the nightmare stuck in her head. Our main character is trying to fulfill a prophecy where if you collect all 12 playing cards, you can essentially cure the disease. At the same time, she is getting the help from the captain of the guard of this kingdom because he also has his own hidden motives to fix things and he also has people he's trying to protect as well. I really loved this world. I feel like it had a lot of found family. The second book definitely added more characters. You got more point of views, which I really enjoyed. And also the second book continues right after the first book. It does leave you a little bit on a cliffhanger how the first book ends. So I was so excited to immediately start reading the second book after I was reading the first book. I just feel like the world was just so cool and unique. I think this is the perfect read for fall or winter, definitely the colder, darker months. I loved our main character. I feel like she was so strong. Once again, the magic was just so unique with these playing cards that I really fell in love with this world and the characters in it. Next up, we have another book that I also read during a reading vlog, and that is Strange Unearthly Things by Kelly Craig. I ended up rating this book 3 stars. This world basically follows our main character who's a psychic, but the way her ability works is she can see dead people when she draws. So she can see these like the spiritual realm, and she gets invited to this manor or this estate. When she gets there, there's other people who also have kind of like psychic abilities who are invited as well by the owner of this estate. He's trying to get rid of this dark force that's kind of taken over this property, and he's asking these people to help him get rid of it. I will say that this was very fast and easy writing to read. I read Phantom Heart by this author a month or two ago and I really enjoyed it. I think I gave that one like 4.5 stars. This one I only gave 3. I didn't enjoy my time as much as Phantom Heart, unfortunately, but I still felt like this was a really easy story to get through. I definitely predicted the ending, which isn't great as well. I don't enjoy predicting the endings of books, but I will say that just the writing style, I feel like this is a very easy and bingeable book for anybody who's wanting kind of a spookier, more gothic romance. Next up, we have The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is the same author of The Drowned Woods that I read last year, which I really enjoyed. And she also wrote another book recently that came out, I think called The Wild Huntress, which I do own and I will be reading very soon. I ended up rating this book 4 stars. I think she does a really great job writing just standalone fantasy worlds where it's just like very well-rounded and it's a complete story from start to finish. In this world, our main character, her and her family own this graveyard and they're grave diggers, so they are very comfortable around death. There's this magic that's in the land where if people are buried out in the woods, then this magic kind of brings them back to life, and they're called bone houses. So think zombies is essentially what they are. Not all of them are scary though. Some are and will attack you, but some are just like simple people who are just walking around who are dead. Something goes wrong with the magic in this world, and these bone houses start to creep into town instead of staying in the forest where they've always stayed. And our main character decides to go on a quest to find this magic wash basin or this magic pot that has been said to have been cracked, and that's what created this magic in the first place. So she's deciding to go and find this magic bowl essentially and fix it or break it completely to erase all of the magic entirely. She is joined by a map maker and he's exploring the land trying to create this new map, but also he has his own reasons. He's trying to locate his family who he lost when he was a child. It was just a very fun journey. I feel like this was non-stop action from start to finish. This author just does such a good job writing fully fleshed out characters in such an easy way. There were no plot holes in this book. Everything I feel like wrapped up very seamlessly, and I really enjoyed my time while reading it. Next, I listened to an audiobook called Everybody is a Liar by Liv Constantine. This is a mystery thriller. I think it's just an audiobook. I don't think you can get a physical version, or they haven't made a physical version of this book. It was a very quick and easy audiobook. I think it was only like 3 or 4 hours long, so it was very fast. I finished it in a day whenever I was driving. I rated this audiobook 3 stars. The story follows 2 different women. One, she's in her marriage and she thinks her husband is cheating on her, and the other woman in the story is a therapist and she talks to couples who are having marital problems. Our story just kind of jumps right in from the very beginning. You're seeing the doubts our main character is having towards her husband. He's not being affectionate affectionate anymore. He's been staying away and not coming home as often from work. Our other main character is a therapist, and she's just seeing kind of everything there is to see when it comes to relationships. This story was very predictable in my eyes. I will say I gave it a 3 stars just because I was hooked from start to finish. I did want to keep listening. I was just so intrigued, and I wanted to see where everything went or how things were going to wrap up. But I will say it was very predictable, especially since the title of the story is Everybody is a Liar. Going into the story knowing that, I'm immediately suspicious of every single character that is introduced in this book. I mean, the title is very fitting. I'll just say that. And the final book that I read this month was Blood Sisters by Vanessa Lilly. I ended up rating this book 2 stars, unfortunately. This story follows our main character, who is an archaeologist, and so she digs up bones, and she is also a Native American. She grew up in Oklahoma, and she grew up in a Native American community, and so she has a lot of ties to her past. She ends up getting called back to Oklahoma, where they found a dead body, and it's her job to figure out whose it is, and also at the same time, her sister went missing, and she's trying to figure out that mystery as well. I personally felt like the pacing was kind of all over the place with this book. Some parts were just like very fast paced and action packed, and then others it just like dragged, and it felt like that throughout the entire story. I felt like there were a lot of plot holes, a lot of things weren't explained, and I just didn't love the ending. I felt like a lot of it was not plausible or realistic. I did really though enjoy learning more about Native American culture and just the struggles that these people have on their land, trying to keep their land and being respectful to their culture. I liked that our main character was trying to kind of make amends throughout the story of the past that she ran from a long time ago. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this gave you some new book recommendations. Once again, I feel like a lot of my videos in the past month have just been me recommending books, especially since we're going into a new season and with the holidays and everything. That is what I enjoy doing. That is what I love to do. I love to recommend books to people, and I just love to talk about them and yap about them with you guys. I will say that I'm currently reading a book that I am enjoying, and I'm hoping that the month of December is better than the month of November, because it was a roller coaster, let me tell you. I have a lot of really exciting books that I'm looking forward to reading this month, and I can't wait to take you guys along with me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.